Getting started in the Bloodline can be a little confusing at first. There's not much guidance in place at the moment as it's still in active development. So in this video I'm going to go over some things that you should know that will make your life a lot easier. Hit the like button if you find it helpful. Bloodline works similar to Bannerlord, where you have the overworld map view to move around and you enter exploration mode by either entering a city or camping in an area. You can't camp just anywhere though, it has to be a named area. You can press the middle mouse button on a name to view extra details about that area, such as your related quests. You can move around by holding left click, or you can click where you want to go and you'll auto path to it. Holding spacebar speeds up time. Sometimes events will happen at certain times of the day, so you can go to the overworld and pass time faster. Be mindful of traveling long distances as there are events that happen in certain areas at random. You could miss them if you travel too far. You can also cut down trees in the overworld, but currently it doesn't give you any XP for woodcutting, so it's better to cut them in exploration mode. Resources play a huge part in Bloodline. You'll need them for crafting weapons, vehicles and building your village, and you'll need a lot. Thankfully, right now there's no carry limit, so you can loot everything, and you should. You might find rare ores and items randomly in containers. Some may be used to craft weapons and armor later on, and some are used in future quests, so you never know when you might need them. The two most common resources are wood and ore. Ores have to be mined in exploration mode. One of the first locations you go to for the main quest is the steppes of Esros in Elderglen Woods. Here you'll find a good amount of ore around the steppes and inside the cave. You don't need to buy any kind of tool to harvest resources, you just have to complete the minigame. For wood, pine and birch are needed at the start. In the same area, there's a giant tree at the back which has a decent amount of pine and birch to cut down. Once you've depleted the resources, you can exit to the overworld and re-enter the area to reset the resources. For weapons and armor, Elderglen is a good starter city where you can buy staffs, shields, bows, mounts, and even join some guilds like the Lion's Mane Mercenary Guild. Now here are some tips regarding movement. First of all, your mount is summoned from the inventory by clicking this lion symbol. You're given a donkey by going through the main quest, but there are a lot more mounts to obtain, even vehicles which you can buy or build yourself. There is a fast travel system. Through the main quest, you get some portal coins which can teleport you to major cities. Use these wisely as they are very rare. A little too rare right now. You can only get them as random loot in containers. Hopefully you'll be able to buy them in a future update. Regarding movement on foot, the grappling hook is your best friend for scaling mountains and castles. You'll get the hang of it after a few tries. While you're pulling yourself in, don't pull in completely. Allow a little gap and press F to jump in the direction you're looking. You can also climb with your hands, but you have to put your weapon away first. Then jump into the wall and press jump again and you'll be climbing. Climbing is a separate skill that levels up, so it takes a lot of stamina at the beginning. You won't be able to climb very far. Chances are this will get changed in the future to make it more efficient. But by far the best way of reaching heights is to fly. You can transform into animals using druid magic. The first animal you get is a rabbit, which is super fast and useful to get around on the ground. Spend a few more points and you can become a raven that allows you to reach hard spots and even fly away from combat if you need to. You can also make potions that allow you to transform into animals, but that does take a lot longer as you'll need to search and harvest ingredients, so I recommend sticking with magic. Combat isn't too difficult to learn in the beginning, but if you are struggling, try using a spear. It's good at keeping enemies at a distance, so you don't need to block as much. While you're attacking, a goal target appears. Aim for this to hit criticals, which do extra damage and can sometimes stun your opponent. Parrying is also possible. If you hold block and press attack, you'll do a shove which pushes the enemy back. If you shove them as the attack is about to hit, you'll do a parry which gives you a slow-mo strike, allowing you to get a free critical hit. To get better at parrying, you can press C to use your slow motion ability to practice. Using this does take stamina, so keep an eye on your bar. Another use of slow motion is against fast flying enemies like the bee, who attacks fast and has a small hitbox. Flying enemies are generally harder to deal with, but to make things easier you can ground them by yanking them with your grapple hook. You can also dodge attacks by holding block and jumping in the direction you want to dodge. Useful if you're fighting a group of enemies or a slow, heavy hitting opponent. It's generally a good idea to keep the enemies in front of you. Don't let them surround you. Dodge or use your grappling hook to escape tight situations and reposition. Healing can be done through potions, food, or spells. You can get a beginner healing spell by doing the priest quests in Elderglen. You can sneak by pressing X. Sneaking is OP at the moment. Even at the lowest sneak level, you're practically invisible. It'll most likely be updated in the future, but for now, if you're struggling to beat enemies in a certain area, use sneak with a ranged weapon and it should be no problem. That's all for this beginner tips video. As the game gets updated, I'll release more helpful videos, so I'll see you in the next one.